Concacaf Nations League quarterfinal. You're watching Matchday Live. Welcome back inside our OneSoccer studio. Andy Petrillo, Jordan Wilson, Christian Jack. That first half, we saw no goals. It was very stop and go for the Canadians. KJ, second half appeared to start that way as well. Then Jesse Marsch started making substitutions.
Yeah.
Hoilett, one of them.
Yeah, I think that'll be the overriding emotion from them looking at this game and go, okay, the strength of depth, that's what we've got. That's what Jesse Marsch has been preaching for a while now, is that when you come into camp, when you come back into this like Junior Hoilett is, you come and you're ready and you're at a certain level. Now, anybody at home who's watching this, we all know Canada were not at that level for large parts of today, but ultimately it's job done. And in an area where they need to continue to strengthen that number, where they can have players that they can rely on, where Schaffelberg and Ahmed struggle to make an impact in the game, you can bring on Buchanan for his first game of the season. You can bring on Junior Hoilett, who's still doing really well in Scotland, and they can make a direct impact. And I thought Osorio as well, he really brought a technician into the game. It was very, very chaotic for a lot of parts. He slowed it down. He was able to keep the ball down. And ultimately, it was a day for Canada's changes to make a difference.
Yeah, for sure. We'll look at the goal and we'll break it down. But that pass from Eustachio, and I said pre-game as well, that the longer this game goes on, it's going to open up, right? The first half for me was a bit cagey, a bit disjointed. There wasn't that much rhythm. But Canada, they just need that little bit of quality, right? And they had that one moment. Obviously, the subs are a huge factor in that. But a game where you don't play your best and you still get a goal and you still walk away with a clean sheet, that's something to celebrate.
Well, let's get to the goal, because our Gatorade performance of the match is the goal scorer, Junior Hoilett. Comes on in the 78th minute, gets the goal in the 81st. And just how about that pass from David?
That switch, yeah, like this is what you want. And then David, for me, we always talk about the fact that he scores goals, but to pick that one out as well. Right, KJ, this is what you love. This is the best angle of it, and I'll hand it over to you. But to see the leg right there, just chips it over the left foot of the player right there, and Junior Hoilett believes that it will be there. And that was just a phenomenal pass, but extraordinary finish as well.
Canada have actually scored quite a lot of goals like that over the last 4 years. And very often, Jonathan David is on the end of it.
Larea gave him one.
Larea gave him one against Suriname, almost identical to that goal. Just as the defense gets tired, it's also one of the very few times where David did go wide. He went wide quite often, but then the wide player went inside and just followed his run through, which Hoilett is obviously going to do that right now, because as I spoke to him this week, and he's really confident. He's playing at a really high level right now. He's enjoying his time in Edinburgh. He's playing really well in Scotland. So he said to me, like, he was just felt normal coming back into this camp, and you could see the moment he comes on the pitch. Jesse Marsch is not going on asking those guys to just go on and take the tempo out of the game. It's 0-0. They need to get a goal. You need something out of it. And in Hoilett, he's consistently being a difference maker for Canada, whether he's an assist or goal scorer.
Yeah, KJ, how many times was the switch on today? Like that switch from Eustachio to play it, David kind of just peels out. But when it's on, that's what you have to do and capitalize it, put it in the mix and put it in a dangerous area.
Someone needs to ask him, hard-hitting journalism, I'm always interested in the celebration. What is this?
I don't know, I saw them do it in training.
What is that? Got to ask him. These are the
Hungry
inquiring minds need to know what kind of celebration that is. But, you know, even for a guy like that, KJ, it's also about keeping a positive attitude. He's been in and out, injuries, you know, kept him out. Then he comes back in. Yes, he's that veteran presence, and clearly, obviously, he gets it done when he's called upon. But mentally, how strong do you have to be? And that itself has to be admirable.
Yeah, look, Hoilett has been a brilliant leader for Canada for a long time. And there was that moment where they said goodbye, right? They had that moment where they were like, Mauro Biello started to move a few things away a year ago, and he was like, they had that coming together as a team, and they said Milan Bojan, Steven Vittoria, and Junior Hoilett. All along, we've had chats, we've sat in the chairs here. If one was going to come back, we always felt it was going to be Junior. It just happened to be he needs to get ready with his club and be right. No one strikes a ball like him still. Even when you've got great players like Alphonso Davies, Jonathan David, Kyle Laren, the way that he hits the ball, and again, the impact that he makes in these games consistently, he's got great numbers for Canada, and it's great to have him there still playing.
All right, well, we're talking about the man. Let's hear from him. Here's Junior Hoilett.
What does it mean for you to score the goal today for the first time in Suriname?
Yeah, it's amazing to get the win, get the 3 points and bring it back home. It's great to get on the score sheet. I've been working hard to get back with the team, and I'm just delighted we got the 3 points with it.
Are you guys surprised a little bit the way Suriname played in the second half?
Yeah, they came out strong and they came out aggressive. They had a few chances, but we stayed strong, stuck to our game plan, and showed in the end.
There was not a big different level in quality of players today on the field.
Yeah, of course. Suriname is a good team. They're competitive. We got to keep the mindset to bring it back home and get the win.
All right, good luck in the away game also. Congratulations.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Junior, we love you, and I'm going to pick on you only because I love you.
3 points, baby.
3 points. We got the 3 points. We're moving on.
Attaboy.
No points. No
3
points.
points. Every game you win, it's a 3 points, baby. I love it.
It's an autopilot with his answer. It's a great win. It's a great 3 points.
Junior, don't change.
For footballers, when they go through thesaurus, win thesaurus 3 points.
It's synonymous. They are.
Yeah, you caught it right away, and we all just kind of
They
went,
know 3 points. I say,
3 points?
I'm like, God, 3 points.
Hey, you did, but you're right. You got the win. Now you're moving on to the next game. Let's get to the All-State save of the match. This was in the first half. Dane St. Clair doesn't make this one because, well, he just wasn't busy. But this one will be in the 16th minute. Ali Ahmed with the first real chance for Canada here, KJ. And
Boston as well.
Yeah.
And, you know, we talked about Ahmed wanting to put his foot through it. You know, I wonder whether he would have gone the other side. Maybe his toes, Jordan. He just tries to place it at that moment. It was crucial. It was a crucial save as well at that moment. But look, it's kind of in the middle of the net.
Yeah, it's right at him. He needs to go back across, but great foot save. Like, you have to stay big. You have to stay on your line. He did that well.
you know what? You have to give him credit. He was doing well, and I believe that's just his third match as well for Suriname. He made the declaration in April of this year that he was going to represent Suriname, and of course they went through that great qualification in Concacaf Nations League, hence why they're here playing the quarterfinals against Canada. But they do fall 1-0 as we bring you the full-time stats, and there's a reason why, as I said, no Dane St. Clair making those highlights because 0 shots on target for Suriname, whereas it was busy the other way around. 13 shots total, 5 on target for the Canadians, maintaining most of the possession, and they do finally find the back of the net. So 1-0. They will take that victory. They'll take the 3 points into November 19th. That will be at BMO Field, Toronto. Canada, Suriname, the Canadians looking to seal the deal here and make the Final Four Concacaf Nations League. That'll be played in the spring of next year. This organization still looking for their first trophy since 2000 on the men's side. We will be live on location. Of course, that game right here on OneSoccer. 1-0. Canada beats Suriname. When we come back, the big storylines, of course, yes, it was Dane St. Clair in net over Max Crepeau and no Alphonso Davies, which is just a bit more of a bigger conversation in the soccer world of club versus country.
This ultimate mouth-watering moment is brought to you by the big, bold, ultimate taste of Ultimate Chicken Hot Dogs, only from Maple Lodge Farms.
I wanna run back to you. All I wanna do is run back to you and make my dreams come true. The only thing I ever do is run right back to you.
When the stakes are high, only the TELUS 5G network delivers.
This is not just laundry. This is laundry that's one and done. This is the ultra-fast combo laundry machine that does both washing and drying cycles, so you can take a load off. This is cleaning large loads in about 2 hours. No more checking, no more forgetting. Profile is revolutionizing laundry, making any room the laundry room. This is GE Profile.
What makes a Burnbrae egg a Burnbrae egg? For generations, we've put more goodness in, so you get a whole lot more out of every single delicious egg. A lot goes into a little at Burnbrae Farms.
I think the group that we have now has lived in club and international levels some great experience, that everybody takes a bit of their own personal experience into the collective, and collectively we've had results that hurt us. So we know the feel, we know the mistakes that were made at these moments, and what are we able to take from those moments. for it to not re-happen again for us. And so let's take an example, that last game that we had against Panama when they tied the game a couple of months back. We could have a slip up. Let's say the game against Jamaica, where it happens, and it's the same kind of group, same core. But we kept on doing what we do well. We put pressure on the opposition. We kept the ball in the right moments. We kept on pushing. The tempo was more high for Panama. They couldn't resist, and Joe found the winner. I think in a couple of months' time, the end result could have been different at that time, but because of those slip-ups or those hard moments, everybody pulled through. And the commitment and the commitment to one another is very, very, very important. And that's something that came along the way with the qualification period, with the injuries of some. I'm thinking about Tejan, for instance. You know, there's big moments that a team lives. Copa was a big one. That can elevate your team and your locker room. And I think we've had some experience, good and bad, that makes us connected to one another and committed to one another.
Welcome back. Matchday Live right here, OneSoccer. Andy, Jordan, KJ with you. The Canadians 1-0. They are victorious over Suriname. Leg 1, Concacaf Nations League quarterfinal. Leg 2, November 19th, BMO Field. We will be there. The Canadians looking to punch their ticket to the Final Four. The curious case of goalkeeping with this team, that of course was Max Crépeau, who has been stellar for the national team. Did seem to be the goalkeeper of choice for Jesse Marsch, especially in the summertime, guys, Copa America and that tournament, which was fantastic for the Canadians. But now you're starting to look at how things are playing out with club. Dane St. Clair doing a lot better in MLS right now than Max Crépeau. Dane St. Clair getting the start here tonight. How much do you look into that, KJ, as there being a battle still for the #1 goalkeeping position?
Yeah, the battle is real. I love that clip. I mean, I was fortunate and blessed to do that interview, but our crew picked that clip for a reason. And I think, you know, you can see right there that Max Crépeau is still such an important part of what this team is doing. You know, and we all think, because we're all jurors of what we've just watched, we can only really judge evidence on the field, right? And Crépeau's not played, right? So he's likely not going to play Tuesday, and he's going to go back and he's going to be really disappointed because players want to play. But the impact, you could see it in his words, the impact that he's making on a daily basis with a lot of these young players and the leadership that he's bringing. Jesse Marsch has told me from day one, you know, he is one of the major reasons why we're able to keep our cool in games. He's one of the major reasons why we've become more of an emotionally intelligent team, because he's able to lead this team through it. And he's been through it all, right? He's been through, you know, MLS Cup, breaking his leg, missing the World Cup, coming back, having a fantastic Copa America, getting dropped for Portland, now suddenly not playing as #1 for Canada after having a great Copa America. It's a big call, a big call. If you think about it in the world of football, he's just had an amazing tournament, been one of the best goalkeepers in Copa America if it wasn't for some guy called Emi Martinez, who might be the best goalie in the world. Just saying. But, you know, Crépeau's had the best.
The Villa just burst into right
It's
there.
fine.
Go ahead, it's okay.
Crépeau's just had a brilliant tournament, okay? Yes. And then not long after, he's lost his job. Now, that speaks to what well played Dane St. Clair's playing, but it also speaks to, I think, how close that battle is as they move forward. It's definitely still on, to answer your question.
That energy, and the calmness that a keeper brings in times where there's a bit of turmoil within a squad, you can't measure it. When you look at your keeper and they can just give you one of these and keep calm, and that's what Max Crépeau does all the time. But Dane St. Clair, if you do everything right, you show up with a good attitude, you're doing well in training, you're keeping close to the other keeper as well, you're gonna play in big games. So I love the whole 1A, 1B chat, and I love how people are gonna say, oh, it should be this guy and it should be that guy. But this is what you want for Canada. Both, for me, keepers that aren't even in their prime yet. Dane's not in his prime yet. He still has more to do. I think Max as well has more to give. And this is what you want. This is a good problem to have, Andy Petrillo.
Yeah, but it's also still very strange in the soccer world, right? Again, here, Canada, hockey, very normal. 1A, you know, 1B goalie in hockey. That's not usually the case in soccer, KJ, right? You have your #1 and you go with him, which is, even if you look at Major League Soccer, your #1 gets the majority of the MLS games. Maybe he'll play in the, you know, your backup will get the Canadian Championship or a game here and there. It's not normal in soccer to maybe go between the two. Usually you have your one guy.
You do.
And you stick with him.
You do. International football, a little bit different, but you're right. And so what does that mean? that means that right now the one in pole position's got the chance. No? Like, that's what that means. You know, Dane St. Clair, and we all love Crepon. I just said everything about him, everything about what he is. What this means now is that Dane St. Clair is where Alistair Johnson was in 2021, where Tejan Buchanan was in 2022, right? He's where Ismail Kone was in 2022. He's where Moise Bombito was in 2023. And what did they all do? Got their opportunity, took it. So this is where you might be right. It may well be Max Crepon may not play another game for a while as a starting goalkeeper, and this may be Dane St. Clair's net now all the way through to 2026. To your point, but it's his chance and his opportunity comes. He's got one chance, right? This is his moment.
All right, well, let's talk. We just mentioned there when it comes to goalkeeping, obviously, Max Crepon. It's been difficult with Portland, especially near the end in that really crucial game as well, the play-in game. He was not the one in net for Portland, and we know with Minnesota, Dane St. Clair has looked fabulous. So oftentimes, how you're playing with your club team will also determine your selection to your national team. Your club team is also, let's just be fair, what pays the bills, if I'm going to be frank as well. And there's been a lot more emphasis as well on that club form and on that club team and getting that next contract. And of course, I'm going to go now to Alphonso Davies. He's not here. They're citing fatigue, but we know that he's in a contract year. We know it's big. Is he going to stay with Bayern? Is he going to go to, Real Madrid? And that's been the big talk really here for the last year. Across the board, though, right? Harry Kane coming out really upset. 9 players dropping out of the England squad. And we're now starting to have this debate, club versus country. It's an honor to play for your country. No doubt about that. But in this world that's been created, right, has club surpassed country?
Tough question. I think so, a little bit. I think it's just about the quality that you're trying to bring as well, right? I think when these players are coming in, when you have Fonzie as well, if Fonzie comes into camp and he's giving 70%, people are going to be questioning, right? And if he can't go because he's training, he's doing Champions League, he has the German League he's worried about as well. Every player that is in a great club is in the same boat. They're playing far too many games, and then you have a little break in a window, and they have to stay sharp, KJ. I think it's tough. For me, it's a catch-22. It's a very difficult thing to address.
Look, to answer your question, the club game overtook the international game over a decade ago when it comes to the overall top quality, where the best players play consistently, get the best coaching on a daily basis. Quality of football is far superior, and the international game will never beat that ever again. It's done. The race is over. But the club game will never beat the international game in the true highs of what it can become to represent your country and play in the greatest 2 names put together in the history of our football, World Cup, right? So this is what the international game has got. And the club game don't like that. So what the club game want to do now is they want to create their own big tournament next summer. And so let's create the FIFA World Club Cup, and that's what they want to do. Right? They want the piece of that action. So, look, I feel sorry for some of these players. I know people don't want to hear that. They're paid so much money. Why should you feel sorry for players? Because they're put in awkward positions. And ultimately, I think this is a bit of an awkward situation for someone like Alphonso Davies, where he has got ultimately the biggest decision he's ever going to make as an international footballer, club footballer, world-class player coming up, and he's going to be making it within he could be making it within the next 2 months. And so I understand how that can be mentally challenging for him, and mentally leads to physical challenges. So I don't know where he's at right now, but when someone says that they cannot come for mental reasons or fatigue reasons, you have to respect that. I said it in the pregame show. There's a reason for me, and I'm not sure what it is, why they allowed it to become out like fatigue. They could have easily said he's hurt or he's got a little injury, because they're not 100%. He's played 18 games in 10 weeks, and since the start of the season. It's a lot of football. A lot of football, and it's not a habit, right? I don't think he'll be doing this again. So, but until Gold Cup, when we probably won't have him anyway, because he'll have to play for his club, whoever that may be.
And I'm not going to speak on Alfonso's behalf. I'm not going to, make that kind of assumption. But what I am going to say is that a lot of players have been very vocal about the congestion in their schedule. I mean, even Infantino trying to suggest the World Cup every 2 years. And what that means, more players are being vocal, which wouldn't surprise me then, KJ, that more players are not embarrassed, ashamed, or going to hide the fact that, well, I'm not there because I'm tired.
Yeah.
Like they're being vocal about it now.
It doesn't matter whether it's the England players that you mentioned, Mbappe, Lewandowski, I can name many, okay? It's all over the place, right? It's a lot. And unfortunately, international games are going to suffer at this time. Nations League is important, but it's not going to be European Championships, Copa America, African Cup of Nations, World Cups. It's not a major tournament, so if they're going to pick and choose, they're going to do that. They can't pick and choose for club because that's where they get paid. But the club game is exhausting a lot of these out of these players.
And it's just their brand on the line as well. Like someone like Alphonso Davies, like every time you come into camp or you go and play for your team, you're supposed to be one of the best. Like, this is what players are going to start evaluating every time. Oh, I can only give 80% today. You can't play like that. You can't go and saying, oh, I don't know if I'm going to go into that tackle. You're really just, you're taking the heart of the game away from these players. So it's just a situation you just don't want.
The good news is he has been excellent for Bayern. Excellent, far better than we saw last year. He's getting more opportunities, and so I think that's the positive for Canada, is that he's still playing a lot with Vincent Kompany now. He's really trusting him, and he's playing big minutes, and he's playing, I think, really very well again.
We can keep going with this topic because it's a juicy one, and I'm sure we will in the next few months, because there are a lot of people obviously who feel the opposite, and when you're representing your country, that is an honor, and you do it whenever you're called upon, and we completely understand that as well. So let's just focus maybe on somebody who was here, who was here, Jonathan David, who assisted on the goal that we saw tonight. And just, obviously when Alphonso Davies is in here, it's Jonathan David who takes the spotlight.
Yeah, look, I wanted to talk David today because it is a bit more season of reflection, right? This is the last studio show we're going to do for the men's team. We're back up BMO Field on Tuesday. Canada, if you're around, go buy tickets to watch this man alone, because he is very uniquely special. But, we're coming into the end of what has been a brilliant 2024 and a magnificent 2024 for Jonathan David. So I wanted to show you some stats and then just go through the things for me. In particular, I want to talk about one-touch finishers. And for me, the best one-touch finishers in the world are the ones who score the goals that way. And this is Jonathan David for Canada. We all know the number on the right, the left, it's 30. 18 of those goals have been scored with one touch. And I want to break them down a little bit and just talk about what a gem we have in Canada. For me, is the greatest goal scorer this men's team has ever produced, and he's only just getting started. So I picked 4 goals, each from the last 4 years, about this kind of thing. So I want to highlight these things and talk about what he brings in this opportunity. This is from 2021 against Suriname, and this is what he brings. You can see right away, already, when you think about what he's looking at with that ball, when Davies comes through, he's already thinking like this way and go into this pocket. What Jonathan David has is a unique ability to score with his head, left or right, but it's his brain that gets him to score these goals as we play it through. He's an anticipator, which is a great skill in life, but when you watch what he can do here, what I want to do here is I want you to just see, as he goes through, we just play it through a little bit more. When you can see him open up his body, like, where do you expect him to shoot there? Pause it right there. If he could go either way, Jordan, no? Yeah. Like, you've seen this goal, so most people might think, I might go this way across the goal. No, not him. He's already seen and looked up, and look where he puts it. Play it through, and this is Jonathan David, and just at a very tight angle goes the other way, right? This is something I notice about and I love, is that things slow down for him in front of goal. Yeah, they're the best, right? Like, he doesn't panic. Yeah. Go ahead, KJ. No, you're right. The best strikers in world football slow down in one-on-one situations, and that's why we have another gem. This is the game in 2022 when they played in a swimming pool in Honduras. Play it through. Just watch the speed that we get through here. And this is what I love about David, too, is those one-on-one situations and slow down. When the ball comes across, he reads it so well, and he has that one-touch finish again. As I said, 18 out of 30 one-touch finishes, and I'm going to have a point to this in a second. But this is 2023. This is Nations League semi-final. And again, as soon as that ball's played, here he is again in the pocket, Jordan. Before I play it, go ahead. This is my favorite because he pointed to Eustachio to play Kamal Miller. We'll play it through slow. Yeah, and he said he needs to go out. As soon as it goes out, he knows he makes that run beyond the fullback. So he's already pointed for Eustachio to go to Miller. And now he's already pointed for Miller to play to me, to go through here. So this is, again, another unique skill that he's got. And the best strikers in the world have anticipation. And they see things before anybody else. And it's his brain that gets him there. So now it's one thing to do that. It's another thing to finish it. Absolutely. Right? Play it through and watch what happens now. When he plays it through, he knows he's got one-on-one with the goalie. But this could be anything. Okay, now the goalie comes out. Oh, now I'll just put it through his legs. Like, that goalie could be on his line, and he would have to take a second touch. This is why one-touch finishing is so important in the modern-day game, and particularly in international football, because things break open very, very quickly. You see, again, this is the last game. He plays that ball to Miller, and he's away. And he knows right away, and I'm going to play this through. Watch his head movement. 1, 2, 3 steps, keeps moving forward, play it again a little bit forward, and look at that stop right there.
He looks at the keeper.
He looks at the keeper. Yeah. Because he knows he's going to have one touch to look at that keeper, the ball's going to come across, and he knows where the keeper is because he's going to open his body up and go far post. Because he took one look at the keeper, and that's anticipation again, and understanding what he needs to do. And why is this all important? Because of this. This was my homework I did today. Look at these numbers. One touch finishing in World Cups. This is where everybody looks to now in Canada. In 2026, where are we going to be? I'm telling you right now, this guy, Jonathan David, is going to score a one-touch finish and an enormous goal in front of a packed house in Canada. And look at them numbers and how far they continue to go up. 70% of goals scored, one-touch finishing in World Cups. It was 73 in the group stage in Qatar. I was there, and I can see why. Now, this is way bigger than club football, and there's a reason for it. Because in club football, it's transitions, it's quality, it's more possession. And in international football, it's set pieces. Games break down pretty quickly, Jordan, and you need to be opportunistic, and that's what he's got. He's spontaneous, and he gets one-touch finishing, and that's why he's going to score an enormous goal for us in World Cup in 2026.
That last one against Panama.
That's for KJ and also for Jonathan David. That's impressive stuff. That is really impressive, and it puts it into perspective, because you can talk about it all you want, but when you put the numbers to the footage, you're like, oh, wow.
18
That's another level.
18 of his 30
Sorry,
goals.
I just had to, that deserved an applause.
Absolutely.
That's it.
I mean, we've never had a player like him.
Yeah.
We've never had a player like him in this men's team, right?
Okay. All right, well, there you go. The men are what we're bringing you right now, but the women are going to be back in action as well for 2 games, November 29th and December 3rd. They'll be taking on Iceland and South Korea. Afternoon games, they're being played in Spain, 1 p.m. ET and 12 p.m. Eastern. So exciting times to see the women back on the pitch. And now they have some resolution, and that they know that a search will begin for a new head coach for them as they look to move forward. The men will be moving forward to November 19th. That's the second leg in the Concacaf Nations League quarterfinal, leg 1, ending in a 1-0 victory for Les Rouges. More coming up here on OneSoccer.
What makes a Burnbrae egg a Burnbrae egg? For generations, we've put more goodness in, so you get a whole lot more out of every single delicious egg. A lot goes into a little at Burnbrae Farms.
What you doing up there, buddy?
Observing, helping. You could take note.
And the elf costume?
What about it?
Need a nutcracker?
Oh, this one goes to 11. Yeah. Fuzzy, they'll love it. Susan, that green really makes your eyes pop.
Need help with decorations?
It's a bit much.
This ultimate mouth-watering moment is brought to you by the big, bold, ultimate taste of Ultimate Chicken Hot Dogs, only from Maple Lodge Farms.
Degree, 72-hour non-stop protection. Antiperspirant with motion sense. Tested to the limit. Degree, keeps working when others stop.
Pulisic, ahead for Ricardo Pepi. Pepi's in! Pepi scores! Very tight. Pulisic playing assist man. It's one back quickly, and Shamar Nicholson on the turn. Nicholson weaving through. Nicholson goes down on this step right here. The equalize against the United States. Damari Gray, it's saved! And the yellow card is coming out here. And this is a second yellow card for Mason Holgate.
Here's Carrasquilla with the roll with the shoulders. Carrasquilla, was he tripped? He was. It's a penalty for Panama.
for Panama in the 64th minute. And Fajardo scores. Panama with a priceless away goal. And Panama continue their recent dominance over Costa Rica.
All right, there's a look at the other results in CONCACAF Nations League quarterfinal. All 1-0 finishes. USA over Jamaica, Panama over Costa Rica, and what we just brought you here tonight, Canada over Suriname 1-0. Coming up next will be Mexico and Honduras. These teams vying for Final Four. And I keep saying it was a couple years ago. It was in Vegas, KJ. We know when we were there and we saw the Canadians who made it to that final, defeating Panama in the semifinal to face the Americans. First real chance at winning a trophy. I mean, you have to know that these guys are hungry for that because that matters. They want to do well at the big tournaments, but they know that trophy matters.
They're chasing it. It stings. In my chat with Jonathan David, which you can watch online, I said, what's the one loss that sticks with you most? And it's that loss against the US. And just a quick note on these Nations League games. It's how they perform in these games that works out to the seeding. It's not based on CONCACAF seeding. So if Canada can go out and blow out Suriname 3 or 4 midweek, I'm just saying, they could end up getting seeded 1 for that semi-final draw.
Well, that's on the menu. A 3-0 at home. I think they're going to use it as well. Big win today, but Tuesday's where it's all at for sure.
All right, you're already looking ahead to Tuesday. Enjoy this moment, but look ahead to Tuesday. So 1-0 victory here for the Canadians. That's right, November 19th, BMO Field in Toronto, Ontario. We will be there bringing you the second leg against Suriname for Canada. Looking for that victory so they can be busy come springtime. It was Junior Hoilett, your goal scorer here tonight. Great switch by Eustachio, great pass by David. Hoilett, like a vet, just puts it in, and there you go. All right, we've got more CONCACAF Nations League quarterfinal action for you because Mexico Honduras coming up next year on OneSoccer. On behalf of everyone, I'm Manny Petrillo. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.